Well, today we are here. I got a little bit of tire wear going on over here. This is the left front steer on this tow truck. And I did tie rod ends here, I don't know, about a month ago. When I was doing a DOT on it. This is my tow truck here, Bertha. When I was doing a DOT, or they had this driver's side, I can't think now, the damn tie rod end was bad. It had pretty bad movement in it, so we went ahead and put tie rod ends on it. I say it was DOT, it was just a PM, but anytime I do a PM on my truck or my equipment, I always give a pretty thorough deal, so I call it a DOT. But anyway, we did this side and I did the other side too, but I tried to get it close as I could, but we had a hell of a time getting that out of there. Anyway, I've got a little bit of odd tire wear here, starting to rub on, or starting to wear down this side a little bit. So I knew I was gonna have to do kingpins here. I don't know, shit, 4 months ago or so. I've had the kingpin kit for a couple of months, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I was gonna wait till November, or a little bit of end of November, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it that far because this tire is not gonna last that long. So I'm gonna have to get this kingpins done. Whenever you take it into the alignment shop, they always want to try to charge you for, you know, your tie rods and your kingpins and all this shit. So I figured I'd just get all that stuff knocked out before I take it in there. But I've never done kingpins on a little axle. This is an 8,000 pound axle. I've never done kingpins on this small of an axle. So I'm just assuming that this comes out and the bottom's the same situation, and then I guess that whole spindle is just gonna come right off of there. I called GM. This is an older truck, so I called GM and got the part number for the kingpin kit. And I'm waiting on the drag link to come in so I can change that out. It doesn't really need it, but I mean, might as well. Means you're putting kingpins and tie rod ends. I just figured I'd just redo the whole front end. So she's kind of an old truck, but I want to keep her going. So this is the kingpin set that GM called for. Well, they wanted the OEM one has the copper bushing. I like these because I can just screw them in the freaking deal. As long as you keep them greased, they usually last plenty long enough. So anyway, like I said, I've never done these on this type of axle before, but the smaller one, but they're a lot similar to Volvo. Hang on, I gotta check this message. What I was saying is I've never done one, but they're really similar to like Volvo, like the VNLs. They're almost the same style as a Volvo VNL, like the front end. They came with almost all the same parts. Your lock nut, and then your seal kit and whatnot. So they can't be too much or too different than doing kingpins on a Volvo. So give you a new race. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to push that or whatever, or press it in and whatnot. But here's the new bearings that go in there. So we're gonna tear into that. And then once I get the kingpins done, I can go put some new steer tires on it and get in alignment. So anyway, enjoy. I don't know if y'all can see that movement or not. I don't know if y'all were able to see that movement or not, but they're pretty thick. We're just going to put that right out of the way. we're going to go ahead and unbolt that. That way I don't have to deal with this tie rod and the freaking drag link and all that stuff. We're just going to zip them bolts off there, and then we can turn it. I can get them bottom bolts off of there. I don't know if that's the bushing side, I would imagine, or if that's the bearing side. I'm betting the bearing side is going to be up here up top. So, they're interesting. I've never done one of these, but Volvos, I know they come up from the bottom, so I don't know if that's how these are. We'll see. See what it does. If it'll go on there. Yeah, maybe. Come on, baby. Nope. Nope, I don't want to round it off here. Like that just comes in, it like holds the tie rod end on. That's all that is. So I don't know if I can get it over here or not. If I can get that bolt out, then that tie rod should drop. Drag link on. We're going to take it off, get it out of the way, and I don't have to mess with that joint. I'll be back into it. Oh, I don't know, probably, I don't know. I ordered the drag link here. It ought to be in. I really was going to wait till till I had the drag link in to change out these kingpins, but I'm not going to be able to wait that long. It ain't been off in 30 years. Remember, tops are the short ones and long ones on the bottom. I guess is that I'm gonna have to pull this hub off, redo the wheel seal to get this off, because I don't know how the hell else that's gonna come out. Whether or not it has to come out or not, I'm sure it does. I bet you just kind of presses down on there. It's just a seal, grease seal or what, but I'd almost bet that's where the, I'm going to bet that's where the screw part is, the nut part down in there, and then the bushing's down there in the bottom and the bearing's up here, and it just hangs on the bearing. I'm betting money, just like a Volvo. So I don't know, I've never done these, but just the way it looks like it's going to be the same. You know, the funny thing is that I just do not have patience to work on medium duty or light duty. I just really don't. I work on my own stuff because why not? But I get all the time, I get calls for, can you come out and do this on a car or whatever. I'm like, I just do not even want to mess with that. No, but hell no. when you do kingpins on a big truck, you know, based on the make or model of the axle, you know what you got, what you need, etc. Well, I don't know on this shit, so I'm just footing it. We're just kind of playing it by ear. Let me get a, I don't know what the torque spec is. I'm going to have to look that up. I'll probably end up just putting a freaking dial indicator on it and going from there. 60 foot-pounds maybe, if that. Outer bearing and keeper. It's got a little thing on it. Goes in there like that. The bearings are in good shape. I don't know if this has got a cup in it or a cone. Probably not. Alright, well, let me pull on this sucker and see if she'll come out. Yummy. I probably won't yeah, that seal was just starting to leak anyway. You see how it's wet right here. So things happen for a reason. It is what it is. So 24 mil. I'm guessing all of those gotta have to come off. Start at the bottom. I'm already using 3/4 stuff, so I'm just keep on going with it. Put a lid on this thing so I'm not losing a bunch of parts. These are all the same. These are kind of like a Kenworth rear spider thing. I don't do a whole lot of stuff, repair work. Some of it. I mean, my shit I got to, but for a paying customer or something like that, I wouldn't mess with it. Not something I want to mess with. I don't know if I'm going to have to beat this thing off here or not. So here in a minute. Nope, evidently not. There you go, there's that piece. Now that makes more sense. The weasel. Yeah. Just a second. Where's my rag? Here it is. Alright, here we go. So I was kind of right, sort of. I said that the bearing is on the top, which it is. So unscrew that, I'll undo the bottom, and I'm betting, I don't know if that's got a deal on the top to push it down or not. No, it doesn't. The Volvos will have a little indention right in the middle, so it'll give you something to hit on. So, because they're just so that it comes up through the deal. So, I don't think I'll need my kingpin press. I would imagine I could just beat that sucker out of there, even if I were to take the nut off a little bit, maybe blast it with a sledgehammer. I'm betting it'll pop out of there. She's pretty dry in there, and that's because I ain't getting no damn grease up in here. I mean, that grease, that's not from me. That's because it would only come out the bottom. I don't get grease to here. It would never come up here, at least I didn't think it did. So, here, but it seems to be turning down there, and I'm betting that I got to have a tool on the bottom to stop it from spinning inside there. Let me show you what I mean. So what I was saying is that this is what we got going on. These are a little bit different, so before I put any parts on there, I'm going to make sure. Anyway, that one's got a thing on the bottom of it, so I'm guessing that's what keeps it from turning. So, I don't know. I'll have to find something. Let me get those bolts off the bottom. See what it looks like in there. Come on, baby. I don't want to have to get a bigger gun if I don't have to. Wondering if she was gonna make it or not. What do I do with my screwdriver? Let me see. Oh. Let's see. I'm just trying to see what kind of setup there is down here to keep this thing from, I can feel a groove in there. I don't know if that's got anything to do with anything, but alright, I think I got something here. Sophistication. Yeah, see, I was telling you, it's like a liable to drop right on there. There it is. Still have my arm, so we're good. So these are almost identical to a Volvo, like a V&L kingpin setup. They're identical. They're almost the same. There's your bearing, your top bearing. That's rust. I wouldn't imagine that's grease. This is a tow truck that I bought here, I don't know, a year or so ago. I rebuilt the wheel lift on it. I had to take it all out because it was cracked. And I rebuilt the cylinder. We couldn't get the cylinder out for the wheel lift because the pin was seized in there. So I had to come out and cut it out. So I knew I was going to have to do these. And that's just a keeper, like a spacer. So it just sits on the bearing. So it just goes on there and sits on her just like that. And I guess you just smash it down, because I'm going to look at that race wherever that sits in there. I'll have to look and see if it comes with a piece there, because if it does, then it just gets smashed down in there. There's the race right there. So I'll have to pull that race out. Yummy. I think if I put that race in the freezer for a couple hours, it ought to be small enough to drop down in there. Then again, again, I could be wishful thinking too. Let's see what else we can find in here that's juicy. I see something coming with it. These just look like grease, or spacers, shims, if you will. I got one here. Yeah, just a shim with a metal with probably a rubber. Yeah, it's got rubber on the outside. They're different. The bottom one's smaller. Yeah. That's the bottom one. Same thing, got a rubber, and it goes against it. Well, I was able to find a tool for that, but I do not have it, which I kind of figured I wouldn't, and I was kind of hoping. I've got this from Snappy. It's for shackles. It almost works. Almost. I mean, it's barely, but I don't want to tear up my tool. So I could trim that down a little bit and it'd fit inside there, but I think I'd still be in the problem where holding it in there. I mean, I could probably make it work, but I don't want to half-ass it like that. So I did find a tool for this. It's a specialty tool, $100, which ain't bad. So I overnighted it. In the meantime, we're just dead in the water. Old Bertha's just going to have to sit here until it comes in. It should be in the next couple days. So in the meantime, I'm going to have to run my other truck. And we will come back to it whenever we get our parts in. So I'm not going to go any further with anything else. And the next time you guys see this video will be when I have the tool and we put it back together. So in the meantime, I'll just clean up the parts and get them all ready. But we're just dead stick right now, so it'll be the next couple days. So we'll be back. I was getting ready to clean this up, and I was noticing this is the old Kingpin, and then still got the old bushings in there. So that movement that we had, I think, you can see it right there. It really shouldn't move like that at all. Just like that, they come out. There you go. There isn't one in the top part because that's where the bearing goes. So same old shit, just little copper bearing. That's factory right there. She's pretty worn. Yeah. I don't have anything to remove a race with. I don't do too many races. Like, I don't really mess with a lot of bearings or what. I've got a bearing puller and I've got a race installer, but I don't have anything to pull a race out. So we're just gonna do it like the old days. That all cleaned up. I think I've got a race driver. I think it'll be alright. Here's the old one right here. I've got a deal that I've had on this truck for a long time I haven't used. Looks like it's going to be too small. Maybe I don't. Yeah, that'll work. I'll try one more size. Well, that one should do it. All the way down, we gotta go. There she is. A little unorthodox, but it worked. Putting it in the freezer really helps a lot. Sitting down in there. I'm not really going to do anything with it until I get my pin tool in for the kingpin. So I'm going to go ahead and drive that bushing in. So all it is just a screw in. I don't mess with those. You know, they got the honing and all that stuff out. I just screw them in. These are alright. I've never had anybody complain. Let me get a pair of needles. Remember, you got to put that O-ring in there. So you just want to leave enough room for that O-ring. I'll show you. You got this piece right here. That's going to go just like that. So as long as you leave enough room for that when I put it together, I'll put a little oil on that so that it's nice and lubed up, and then we'll work it down in there, and that's just how that goes. And then of course you put your cap on top, as far as I can tell. So I just left a little bit of room on top of that, on the bottom of that bushing there, just enough for that. It ain't much, so just enough to get it down in there and be nice and home. Just your grease still. Let me get that kingpin on. But what I'm after, we don't have no grease on this thing yet, but what I'm after is just that nice snug fit. So you should be able to just kind of go in there without a bind. If you can't put it down in there without a bind, then there's something wrong with it. So see how nice that fits. And once you grease that sucker, no movement whatsoever. I can't hold it still, but so she's not moving at all. That's what we want. So anyway, that's all I'm going to do for that. It's going to stay put until I get my part in, or my tool. I'm going to need it for the other side. And not only that, I've got that wheel seal that I've got to replace, and I can't get to the parts store till later, so I'm not going to go any further with it. We're going to put it all away for now, and come back to it. So whenever we come back, we'll have everything we need and get it put back together for you. So.